From falling into substance abuse at a very young age to using his work as a way to escape the turmoil he's been through, here's what James Gunn feels about his struggles with addiction, starting with coming clean about how bad things really became. In an interview with El País, James Gunn opened up about his struggles with mental health and addiction. The director revealed that his demons have changed over the years. He battled alcoholism and drug addiction in his younger days, going through some pretty tough times. Gunn has been open about his personal struggles in the past. In a tweet last year, he called himself a violent teenager addicted to drugs, but also highlighted that recovery and healing are possible with the support of loved ones. According to him, when he focuses on his creativity, everything just falls into place. Of course, he's not denying that it can be tough at times, but he's determined not to make life any harder than it already is. In the interview, Gunn reiterated that the creative process has been a significant anchor for him. By focusing on it and not letting distractions get in the way, he believes everything will work out well. Of course, Gunn acknowledged that it can still be mentally challenging at times, but you just need to find that perfect balance. But this isn't the first time Gunn has credited creativity and entertainment for saving him. In a Facebook post in 2017, he talked about how popular entertainment, including Marvel Comics, science fiction, horror films, and music, were the only things that really helped him get through it all. They became his escape and his sanctuary, and he also used music to his advantage. Bands like Queen and The Replacements were like therapy for him, giving him a much-needed dose of comfort and inspiration. But it was when he started working for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that things really took off for him. Making movies became his ultimate passion, his true calling. And you know what? It worked wonders for the filmmaker. It gave him a renewed sense of purpose and drive. But now he's dealing with a whole new set of challenges as a high-profile director. Money, power, attention, and negativity seem to be the culprits. Can you imagine that? But I guess it's not all sunshine and rainbows, even when you're successful. Here's the thing. James Gunn stayed true to himself and his work. He found comfort and focus in the creative process. In fact, you could actually see his struggles in his movies. Remember that heartfelt Facebook post he made back in 2017? He said he sees himself in the characters from Guardians of the Galaxy. They're all kind of like his alter ego, with how they go through the same struggles of trying to connect with others and feeling lost, just like he did. But they learn and grow along the way. And that's what Gunn did. Even his brother Sean Gunn noticed how much of an impact James's filmmaking journey had on him. Sean said Guardians of the Galaxy took his brother to a whole new level. James tapped into his insane creative potential and found his own style and voice. Because of James's past struggles, Sean had his doubts when his brother took on this massive project. He was afraid of him chickening out of the whole thing. But James didn't back down. He wholeheartedly committed himself to Marvel and felt completely at home on set. It was like he had finally found his true purpose. Guardians of the Galaxy played a huge role in pulling him out of his sadness and pushed him towards something that felt like he had a purpose. But just when it seemed like things were going well for him, he was fired from the MCU. It all started when some offensive tweets from Gunn started making the rounds online. I'm talking about tweets from 2009 and 2010. The tweets in question had Gunn making jokes about abuse and all kinds of other sensitive issues. That's not something you want to associate a family-friendly company like Disney with. Alan Horn, the big shot over at Walt Disney Studios, said they couldn't defend the offensive statements, and so they cut ties with Gunn. Let's be clear. Gunn's jokes were definitely inappropriate. Nobody's arguing that. But some of the accusations they were coming up with were just absurd. Those who have followed Gunn's career know that he started in the world of low-budget movies and had a penchant for offensive and shocking humor. This isn't the first time Gunn's sense of humor has caused controversy. In 2011, he wrote a blog post that was criticized for being homophobic and sexist. Fans called him out in 2015 for a line in the original Guardians of the Galaxy where Gamora is referred to as a green whore. In response to his firing, Gunn posted an apology on Twitter, acknowledging that his old tweets were failed and unfortunate efforts to be provocative. He regrets them and recognizes that they don't reflect who he is today. With that, he was rehired after a 12-month break, and the fans were over the moon. Not only was he rehired for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, But he also got to work on a Guardians Christmas special for Disney Plus. So, what happened behind the scenes to make all this possible? In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Gunn spilled the beans on the drama that led to his comeback. It turns out that Alan Horn had a change of heart and demanded Gunn's return. It seems like Horn felt lousy about his decision to let him go. Horn initially fired James because he thought it was the right move, but there was more to his rehiring than just Gunn's filmmaking skills. It was the director's willingness to own up to his past mistakes that really made an impact. He had posted some seriously unacceptable tweets, but let's be clear here. He was never involved in any disturbing behavior. Gunn took full responsibility for his poor judgment, especially considering his early days working in the Troma Film Factory, where he was all about being a provocateur. The interesting thing is that Gunn never publicly called out Disney. Instead of getting defensive, he took the blame and handled it like a pro. But could the MCU truly replace him? According to Marvel boss Kevin Feige, they didn't bother looking for a replacement director during Gunn's absence. They couldn't bear the thought of someone else directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There were rumors about other directors like Taika Waititi and Adam McKay being considered, but Marvel had confidence in Gunn's vision. They wanted him back badly, but things wouldn't be too easy, right? Gunn had already committed to write and direct the Suicide Squad sequel for Warner Brothers and DC, but Marvel was willing to wait. They agreed to delay the entire project until after Suicide Squad 2 was done, all because they were determined to have Gunn back on board. It just went to show how much everyone cared and how he actually made a difference on set. In a way, this was the opposite of the way his life had been before he actually got into Hollywood. Gunn came from a family of alcoholics. Before he was the genius filmmaker the world knows him as today, James grew up in Manchester, Missouri, a suburb of St. Louis. But life wasn't always easy for him. His Irish Catholic family had its fair share of dramatic tension going on. Gunn's dad struggled with alcoholism back in the day. Things were different when James was a young boy. That family turmoil meant that his childhood was pretty unstable. Now, Gunn doesn't mind sharing that his family had its fair share of dysfunction. In fact, he's pretty open about it. In an interview with the Washington Post's Comic Riffs, Gunn let it all out. Growing up in a household filled with alcoholism definitely had an impact on him, as it would for any child. It's probably why he's been struggling with addiction for so long himself. But despite the challenges, Gunn found his way. He took a difficult childhood and channeled it into his art, into the movies we all love. He wasn't alone in his struggle. His younger brother, Sean, also experienced the turmoil. But being the youngest of 6 siblings, he had it a little easier than Gunn. As they all grew older, though, things started to get better, and James was able to, for the most part, stay away from his addictions and try to lead a better life. But then again, the man has a history with substances, and it's not so easy to completely bury that history. So from using his work as a way to escape all the turmoil that he's been through, to falling into an awful trap of substance abuse at a very young age, that was all James Gunn had to say about his recent addiction struggles.